Hey everyone, how's everybody doing today? Hope you're doing well. Just wanted to come on here and give an update on what's happening with the channel. I'm going to change some of my content. I'm going to add some dog stuff. I'm going to add some stuff about my hybrid that I drive, give some information on some different stuff. Going to kind of shorten the videos that I'm doing on the content of reality. And all these are just, I don't consider myself a content creator. I don't have a script. I don't have sponsors. I'm just giving information, how I handle certain situations. And I don't, care. You can make a comment about my content, critiquing my content and how you would handle the situation. That's the comments that I'll respond to. I appreciate the nice comments. I appreciate this stuff. And if I can help somebody, by posting this kind of stuff. My alone video, I was just really surprised at how well it kind of took off. And it's great. I just don't want people to comment and try to criticize my character or what kind of person I am when you don't know me. I'm not going to let a stranger tell me what they think I am when I know who I am. And, like I said, I'm not going to have somebody criticize me because I don't care. I don't care what you think of my character. You can comment all day long on my content and how you think of the content, and I'm fine with that. We can agree to disagree on that, but I'm certainly not going to listen to a total stranger tell me when they've watched 2 videos of what I've talked about and how I handle stuff. And like I said, my videos are reality, and it's real life. It's nothing staged. It happened to me, and I'm just putting on there what kind of solution. But I will say, the message that I have in this video is like I said, I'm gonna start doing other videos with my dogs and hanging out with my dogs and have more positive stuff. I was gonna start a different channel for each of the things that I was going to talk about. And I did actually start 2 different channels. And I just don't want to do that. I want to focus on one channel and just have a variety of content that I have, real life stuff. Oh, and there's that dog that's barking. I don't know if you hear that in the background. Anyway, it's not my dogs. Just the message that I have to say to people is, you know what, when you get up in the morning, this is what I've done for years. Get up in the morning, look in the mirror before you take your shower, shave, or brush your teeth, or whatever you're doing, and just tell yourself that it's going to be a great day. And tell yourself you love yourself. Even if you have to lose weight, even if there's certain things you need to do, you're only in competition with yourself, and you need to be in competition, not with anybody else. And that's what I've said all along. I'm in competition with me to make myself better. I could care less about my friends, my family, anybody. And that goes to say about how people, certain people are role models in people's, and it's like, okay, that's fine. But you're in control of the way you act, the way you present yourself, and you're in control of, yes, you can have a bad day, but if you go into it not telling yourself you're going to have a good day. I'm talking about, that's what one of my old bosses used to say to me. I could have somebody have a bad experience with somebody, and the next person I help, I acted like nothing was happening because it's not their fault because that person, or they're having a bad day and they take it out on me. And that's my whole thing about, if you look in the mirror, tell yourself you love yourself, and you respect yourself and that you're going to have a great day, you'll end up 98% you'll have a good day. And that's why I think my alone video had such criticism, because people don't like to be in the company of themselves. And if you don't like the company of yourself, how can you be happy or respectful or love or whatever to anybody else? You're giving, for that matter. And so that's what I'm saying. You got to love yourself. And you got to love what you got and not love what you don't have. if that makes sense. Don't focus on what you don't have. Focus on what you do have. And that's the whole thing with me, I've had friends try to recommend that I needed to go get Botox, get rid of these wrinkles, and I need to do this, and I need to do that. And I went in to a place to have some skin tags removed, and they tried to sell me an eye lift. They said, well, they're measuring my face. I said, what are you doing? I'm here to have some skin tags removed. And they spent 30 minutes of my time measuring my eye. And so then the doctor comes in and she's like, I said, I'm here for something totally different. She said, well, you're eventually going to have that done. And I said, no, I'm not. I said, my dad had to have it done. But I said, I'm not here. I like the way I look. And she was just stunned. I said, and I wanted to say, judging by her looks and her brochure, I'm like, you look nothing like your brochure. Maybe you need to have work done. And I just looked at her and she said, well, you could do some Botox to get rid of these lines. And I looked at her and I said, I'm here to have skin tag removal. I'm not here to have anything structurally done to my face. My face is perfectly fine for me. And she and I said, am I at the right place? Because this is what my dermatologist recommended. And I'm seeing that you're trying to sell me something. I said, if I can't see out of my eyelids because they're hanging too far down, and if I can't see, then I probably should have type of surgery like my dad. But at this time, I'm not here for that. And I'm not going to probably come to you for that because of this experience. And she just kind of looked at me. I said, let's just get rid of the skin tags. And then it was just interesting. She goes, well, you could do, but I said, I'm not putting poison in my body to get rid of my wrinkles. I'm sorry. It can happen. I kind of like my wrinkles because, when it rains and I don't have a baseball cap, the water goes not into my eye. It goes off to the side because of my wrinkles. It follows the wrinkle down and then it falls down here and not comes into my eye. So we're good. She just looked at me and just like, sorry, honey, I ain't going to cut on my body to make myself feel better about myself. I said, I love who I am. And I said, I'm going to grow old gracefully. And I'm sure she was just, because that's not Southern California mentality. And I'm sure it's not Southern California mentality when you're in an area where there's a lot of old people. So I'm sure a lot of the old people would be dead on. And I'm old. So anyway, I digress on that. But yeah, that's my word of the day as far as be positive, love yourself, be in competition with yourself, not anybody else. Because when you're in competition with yourself, you're going to make yourself the best person you can be. And that's what I say. So anyway, hope you guys liked this video. If you did, give it a thumbs up. If you like my content, subscribe. There's no charge in subscribing. And I will see you on the next one. Thanks for watching.